So there are quite a few things which are added recently. AAD, Azure Active Directory. What is that? To just give you a brief. As I said, you should know these things as a DevOps engineer. It's an expectation. So whenever you're using your code in your real-time application, you want to, let me put it this way. Whenever you're logging into your laptop in your corporate, what will it ask? It will ask for your employee ID and password. Where is this employee ID and password stored? It is stored in something called as Active Directory. 100% of the companies out there, not 99, 100% of the companies use Active Directory. They don't go with any other implementation. This is the most smartest implementation for managing your users of your any website of any corporate world. You have Active Directories which are being used. They just took Active Directory which is on-prem to the Azure, and they called it Azure Active Directory. That's it. They did nothing different. What is Azure Active Directory? It maintains the users which you are having inside your application. So Azure Active Directory, it is the way in which you store users inside your directory. So you have you see this here. So AAD, Azure Active Directory, for group membership. So essentially you will create user groups inside your application, and you will have a group membership for your user groups. So that is what I'm saying. It is a way of storing your user information inside the cloud, Azure Active Directory. Just have a read around it and just understand it to some extent, in which when your interviewer is speaking to you and saying what do you know about Azure Active Directory, you should not be blank. Just do some reading around Azure Active Directory. Just know it. I'm not saying you should be able to implement it. Just know it. You should not be blank. When someone is asking you something, you should not be blank. Just have some answer to it instead of a blank answer. So many things which have happened recently. Yeah, we came to the end. So many things which have happened recently. Just go to the official website. You would get a link to that Bill 2019, which happened just 4 days back. You have your Bill 2019, which happened just 4 days back. Just have a look at what are the things which have happened recently, and what are the enhancements they have added to the Azure portal. As an Azure DevOps engineer, because you would be always here, right? So let's close this. As a DevOps engineer, it is recommended for you to understand what is happening inside the Azure world, because you are an Azure DevOps engineer. So just have a tap on these kinds of things which are added recently. And when he says something, you should know where to go. So when he says Kubernetes, I knew where I need to go. You should have a knowledge of this, where you need to go and where to find stuff. So you should have knowledge of these kinds of things. You should be familiar with what's what and what goes where. That is what is the expectation out of it. So that's pretty much on the site. Let us go back to our slide. So what does your Azure cloud have? It has compute. Your AI, your artificial intelligence, and your virtual machines and stuff, they come under compute. Your service fabric, containers, SQL Server, all of this come under compute zone. You see the number of things which come under compute. These are the things which come under compute, whatever you see here. Your web apps, APIs. 90 or let me say 80% of the times, DevOps engineer would be here, inside the compute zone, or 70% of the time. 30% of the times they would be in containers and other things. Most of the time they would be in the compute zone. Just explore a little bit of what is present inside the compute zone. What are the services which are being offered inside the compute zone from Azure, and how can you actually go ahead and use these services in your code? Just have a look at it so that you get a feel of what is what. We will look at a few of it in our walkthrough just now, but you also just go ahead and have a good browsing around it, because everything is official. It's all present in the official website. So just have a look at it and understand what is happening inside the compute zone of your ASP.NET Azure portal. So just understand compute to some extent. Then the next thing, for any application, what do you have? You have data storage. Just see what are the offerings which Azure has on the data storage part. Knowing all these is important for us to go to the build and release pipelines. Before going to this, you should understand what goes where. When I say release, what is the thing which I need to select? What should I select? What is my application? Depending upon that only, I will select that appropriate thing. Then there are so many options. Look at that. When there are so many options, what is it that I want to use? You should be very much clear on that. If I select anything and apply, it will go ahead and apply. So if I just say select and apply this, it has done the job and it has applied it. But why did I select this and not select something else? That is your and my problem. That's essentially, we need to know what to be selected in what scenario. We will explore a few, but that's not the entire answer. You should know what goes where. For knowing what goes where, you should understand to some extent what does the compute services have, what is the data storage services having. It is not clickable. Why? Okay, I'm here. What are the different offerings in the database domain which Azure provides? What should I use for my scenario? It is you and me as DevOps engineer. We have to suggest what should we use inside my Azure databases. That's again our problem. Databases, messaging. When different components want to speak to each other. I'm just looking for messaging and RabbitMQ kind of a thing. Notification hubs. Essentially, this is the way in which I can notify some devices of what happened. What do you mean by notification hub? You have subscribed to a YouTube channel, and once a new video is uploaded, will you get a notification on your mobile phone on the top? Yes, that's what is notification hub. I will push notifications from notification hub. So depending upon what is your requirement, you will be configuring notification hub. Look at what it is saying. It can reach all major platforms like iOS, Android, Windows, Kindle, Baidu. You can reach all the major platforms by using notification hubs. That's what is my purpose, right? Wherever I build my application and I want to push notifications, I can use notification hubs. That's what is messaging. You should understand where you need to do messaging. As a DevOps engineer, I should have answer for messaging. What are the services which are available inside Azure? I should have an understanding of it to some extent, because that is what is the thing which we do as DevOps engineers. That's what is notification hubs. Then you have networking. I see network. See more. Content delivery networks. What's a CDN? When I I say jQuery CDN, I get a link. That's my CDN for jQuery. Why use CDNs? You should have an understanding of that. Whenever I'm speaking about networking, I'll be speaking about one of the things which I'll be speaking about is my CDNs. Is content delivery networks, traffic manager. So there are multiple things. Load balancer. What's a load balancer? You should have some understanding of these services, because we as DevOps engineers, we would be also configuring the networking stuff. That is also something which we need to have a understanding about. That is networking, services and APIs. Whenever you are building an application, you would definitely have services as their backend. So while we are here, let me just speak about, go back and speak about networking, CDN. If I have used the CDN link for jQuery, I'm using the CDN link for jQuery. What will happen? Why can't I use jQuery file link? Why should I use CDN link? You have your customer. CDN is content delivery network. It would have been configured for multiple regions. UK, Europe, Asia. Let us just stop there. So jQuery CDNs are everywhere. Whenever they create a CDN, what they mean by CDN, jQuery CDN, they have multiple CDNs deployed across the globe. Whenever I, as a customer, I am logging in from India, which is the CDN which will respond to me? The Asia CDN, because I am in the Asia subcontinent. It would be faster for me to connect to Asia CDN than connect to Europe, UK and USA. This would be a faster connection. So what would happen when I'm connecting from India? It would go ahead and pull the data from Asia CDN. That is what it would do. I will get the answer from Asia CDN. If I am using the same website from USA, where will I get the answer from? I'll get the answer from here, from the US CDN. I'll get the answer from there. What's happening here? If I'm downloading jQuery from Asia CDN, will it be faster? Yeah. If I download the same from USA CDN, will it be slower? To some extent. I will not say it would be hugely slower, but it is a totally different region. CDNs understand the region and the client. Where is the client? What should be the CDN which needs to be loaded? Content delivery network. What is CDN? Here, my jQuery CDN. Which CDN should be responsible for responding to the customer should be very clear when you are using content delivery networks. When you are using CDNs, they are very clear what should be used so that your application is fast. You will improve your performance. Improve performance. That is what you do when you are using CDNs. So we should be having a simple bit of understanding of how to have CDNs used in our application, and how can we work with CDNs and stuff. So you should not be blank when someone says CDN, when someone says service. We should have a little bit of idea, like Active Directory. We just spoke about Active Directory, right? AAD, Azure Active Directory. What's Active Directory? It will store the user information. So you should not be blank when you are hearing these terms. They should be to some extent clear to you. That is what is the expectation from a DevOps engineer. We should have a good understanding on what is what. Coming to how your architecture is laid out. There are three ways in which I can work with cloud. I can have IaaS or PaaS or SaaS. These are very famous terms, and we as DevOps engineers, we should know it. That what is IaaS and what is PaaS and what is SaaS. This is what is your infrastructure as a service and platform as a service and software as a service layout. What does it mean by it? What does it mean by IaaS? Only this. What do we mean by IaaS? If I am a banking customer and I want to use cloud, I'm a banking customer and I want to use cloud. When I want to use cloud, I will say that I don't want to use your services. You give me a machine. You give me a machine and I will deploy my application on your machine. That is your virtual machine. What am I saying? As a banking customer, I will just say, I have my entire application here on-prem. I want to take it to the cloud. To take it to the cloud, what I am saying, don't I don't want to use any of your services. You have these many services, right? How many services are there? Analytics, these many. Compute, these many. There are so many services. I'm saying I don't want these many services. I don't want to use your services. Just give me a virtual machine. Just give me a virtual machine of Windows. Give me a Windows virtual machine in whatever is in my application. I have my application, I have multiple components. Give me a virtual machine, I will take all these components on cloud. That is what I'm saying. Give me a VM. I will take all these components onto cloud. I will deploy it like that. Whatever are my blocks, I'll just take the blocks, deploy it in my cloud virtual machine. That is what I'm saying. That's IaaS. What is IaaS? It is infrastructure. I am taking my entire infrastructure and I'm using the infrastructure which is present in the cloud, like a VM. Infrastructure as a service. I am using the infrastructure which is present in the cloud and I am taking my application to the cloud. That's infrastructure as a service. What are the advantages and disadvantages using this? All of what is red or orange, this is what is managed by your Microsoft cloud. So all of these things are what are managed by your Microsoft cloud. Whatever is in the light pale color, these things are what are managed by my what is managed by me. I have to manage this. I, in the sense, my engineers who are working on my project, they have to go ahead and manage these things. What are the things which we need to manage? You can read it out. I need to manage the operating system. I need to manage the middleware, the runtime, the data, and the application. I need to manage all those things when I am using infrastructure as a service. When I say OS, what should I manage? If you are already in a corporate world, you will be getting frequent mails from your admin saying that maintenance video on the weekend coming Sunday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. we will be maintaining our server. Expect that the server would be down for this time on the weekend. Do you remember that? So you usually get it every now and then. Sometimes 2 times in a month, sometimes 3 times in a month, sometimes once in a month. It all depends. But you will be getting that maintenance bill. What do they do in that maintenance bill? They would apply patches. There would be some security patches which Microsoft has released. And when you want to apply security patches on your server, what should you do? You should take down the server. You will take down the server, apply the security patch, then you will reload the server, then we will restart the server. So what are you doing there? You are maintaining your application inside your environment. We usually get it. That is what I am saying when I am using IaaS. Infrastructure as a service, I am saying I will maintain the OS. I have engineers who can maintain the OS, middleware, runtime, all of these things, middleware and runtime, those are the things which are running your application. All of that I can maintain it. That is what I am saying when I am saying IaaS. What is PaaS? Here is where you will understand the difference or the pain factors which are taken away from you. When you say PaaS, then I am saying to my cloud, I am saying I don't want to use VM. I want to use your services which you have on your cloud. And each of my applications which you have here are deployed as independent services. This guy is a ASP.NET application. He would be deployed in a ASP.NET application here in the cloud. This guy is a SQL. He would be deployed as a SQL. I will deploy each and everything as a service, as a platform. I will use each of these things as a platform. I will not use an existing platform. I will use each of these things in their own platforms. I will have a platform for them, their own things, and I will use those platforms in my inside my cloud. That is what is platform as a service. When I am using this guy like this, Microsoft says I will take care of the OS. So you need not take down your system for maintenance. Whenever there is a maintenance window, you need not take down your system. I will maintain it. I will take care of middleware. I will take care of runtime. When you use PaaS, your work is very easy. Your work, in a sense, the software engineers work, DevOps engineers work, is very easy because 90% of the headache is gone. When OS is taken care by Microsoft and middleware and runtime, whatever is this is taken care by Microsoft, then essentially I have less headache which I need to handle. So most of the things are taken care by Microsoft and I need not care about it. All I will care about is my application and the data in my application. That is what I will care about. Remaining things I will leave it to Microsoft to take care of. That is what is platform as a service. I will deploy my application as independent platforms. I will not use another platform like a VM. I will deploy them as independent platforms. That's what is PaaS. In PaaS environment, these things are taken care by your Azure. So, is there any question?
Yeah, Abdul. Yeah. Actually, platform as a service. So here, including infrastructure also can call it as a platform as a service, right? Or
what is that? I can use platform infrastructure as a platform as a service. What is that? What is the question?
No, you are explaining that platform as a service, right?
Right.
So in that, infrastructure also will come, right?
No, infrastructure will not come because I am using the infra of the cloud. I am using the infra of the cloud. I am not using the infra bought from the cloud like a VM. I am using the cloud infra, which is already there. So these three things, I am using clouds OS, clouds middleware, and clouds runtime. I am not using a specific infrastructure like a virtual machine. I'm using cloud's infrastructure. That is why I'll make it a PaaS. And these things will be maintained by your Microsoft. I need not care about these things. These two are totally different. Here I am using a VM, wherein I am using an infrastructure which is which I am buying from Microsoft. That is what I am doing here.
Suppose we are using OS, right? So OS we are using this server also we should take. So all the time we can tell that we have taken a server itself. So infrastructure also very using.
Yeah, when you're using PaaS, the OS, you don't care about OS. That is the catch. So let me just explain that. If at all this is the ASP.NET application. This is a ASP.NET application. This is ASP.NET application. Whenever I am having ASP.NET application like this, I want to deploy it in a PaaS. I will say deploy it in a web app. So let me just clean this thing. On premise, I have a ASP.NET application and I want to take it to the cloud. When I want to take it to the cloud, I'll say deploy it as a web app. Deploy it as a web app. I'll tell you the difference. If I deploy it as a web app, I don't care whether this web app is being run on a Windows OS or a Linux OS or whatever other OS you have in the market. In Windows, you have Windows Server and Windows blah, blah, blah. I don't care about it. When I deploy it in a web app, I will just tell to Microsoft, please deploy my ASP.NET application inside a web app. So it will go ahead and deploy it in a web app. Who is taking care of the operating system and middleware and runtime? I don't bother about it. I will just say, just go ahead and deploy it, and I want to use this as is. So that's what is PaaS. When I want to use IaaS in the same example, what will I say to Microsoft? Give me a VM of Windows. I'll say VM, the operating system should be Windows Server, and I'll be very specific. Windows, it will not understand only Windows. I'll say Windows Server. Give me operating system of Windows Server. There I will go ahead and deploy my ASP.NET application. Here I am specific and I am telling it to give me a operating system of Windows Server. Who will maintain it? It is me, because I said give me a VM and I will own the VM. And I have to maintain and release patches, updates and stuff like that to this. Here I don't care what is the operating system and the runtime. All of that is taken care by Microsoft. I will only say to Microsoft, take my application, deploy it. Where you deploy it, it is your headache. I will tell to him, I don't care about it. Here, I care about it. In IaaS, I'll say, yeah, I care about where you're deploying it. So give me control. I am taking control of OS, middleware, and runtime. In a PaaS, I will ask him to decide. I don't care about what OS you will work on. Just go ahead and use any OS you want and deploy my application. That's what is PaaS. PaaS and OS are PaaS and IaaS are completely different. You got that, or should I give some other example? You got it, or how is it?
So I have one more example. It should be better.
Yeah, tell me, what is it out here? What is it that you did not understand here in this example? Where did you get
go to? Can you go to previous slide?
There is, yeah, this one, yeah.
So here, application in the sense we are using our application in our on-prem server. Okay, so we are hosting in their web app server. Fine. So if you that means it hosted in their server only, right? I mean, they're also using the server, right?
No, where are you speaking about? You're in IaaS or you're in PaaS?
I'm in PaaS.
You're in PaaS. Okay. What are you saying? When I host my
So
application,
I'm comparing IaaS and the PaaS. So if I
right?
come to IaaS, so
Uh-huh.
here my application is running in on-prem. So
No.
you are
It's not. It's not running on on-prem. It's running in a VM inside cloud. Cloud's offerings are IaaS and PaaS. All of these three are cloud. I'm taking my on-prem machine to my cloud. So these things are all cloud. IaaS is a cloud offering. I am in cloud when I'm saying IaaS. There I'm deploying my ASP.NET application on a VM. So what is your question here? Tell me your question.
so if we hosted that, if we host the application, so only application we are hosting into their web app machine. So if I want to, if any issue came, I need to go into the server, right? So
Correct.
that time server we required, right? So infrastructure also we required that time, right?
Right. So in PaaS, you don't have that flexibility. If there is any problem, you don't have the flexibility of logging into server. Why? Because you said server is your responsibility. I will not care about it. When you go with PaaS, you don't have the flexibility of logging in and doing that. If you want that kind of a control, then you have to go for IaaS. Because here you will be having the server username, password, and you will be going to the server and deploying it in the server. So you would be having your own server here. Here you don't have that privilege. You can't log into the server. Microsoft will not allow you. There is nothing like a server there. It would have deployed it in whatever server. It would have deployed it in a server. It would have built a server in which already there are 10 applications, and yours is the 11th application. It would be server like this. So it cannot give you access. Once you go to PaaS, there is no server as such. There is a server, but Microsoft is using that server to host many applications. It will not give you access. If you want that kind of control wherein there is a problem and you want to log in and see, go for IaaS. Don't go for PaaS. That's where you need to decide. Should I go with IaaS or should I go with PaaS? It's your decision. When you're deploying it, that's where you decide what you want to go with. So with your example, I will go with IaaS. I will not go with PaaS. Because PaaS, the server is taken care by Microsoft. I will not take care of the server. So I can't log into the server because it would be using a server wherein other applications are deployed, and once you log into the server, you can see other applications also. Microsoft will not allow you to do that. Once you say PaaS, server is not your responsibility. It is Microsoft's responsibility. It can host your app anywhere. It is up to it. Only thing which you can say is host it in US Central or Asia Pacific or Europe, European Union. You can only select which is the region. In that region, which server it uses in PaaS, you don't have any control over it. And Microsoft will not give you any control. If you want that kind of a control, go for IaaS. Don't go for PaaS. Any doubts there?
So if we take the PaaS, so server all the, they will take care of the servers, right?
Correct. Correct.
So if we get any issue, means we need to raise a
No
request to
issue.
them to,
Right.
suppose application down, something,
Correct.
some module is not working,
Yeah.
like that. If I want to
Okay.
check it, means I need to raise a request to them only, right?
No, you will not raise a request to them. It is much more sophisticated than that. If that is what is your question, there is a SLA, Azure PaaS SLA. I hope I can see the SLA. Summary of SLA of all Azure services. What is this? 99.9% availability. They are planning to increase it to 99.99. There is 99.9 now. Since last 1 year, they are planning to increase it to 99.99 availability. There is nothing like server is down. How can they manage availability? This is the SLA. This is the promise by Microsoft. your website will never be down when you use PaaS. Whatever doubts you got are valid doubts. What if my server is down? It will never be down. It is a Microsoft promise. SLA, service level agreement. I am telling that as a Microsoft, and you can trust Microsoft. 99.9 is almost 100. He is saying 100% I give you guarantee that your website will never be down. That's my promise. How will he do it? He will use replication. He will do all these things. If you say deploy my application in Central US, it will deploy in Central US. As a backup, it will back it up inside Japan, a totally different region, so that for whatever reason, if the server is down in US, within 2 seconds, it will take the backup from Japan and redirect all your requests to Japan server. And it will, once this server is up, it will back up the data from the Japan server to the US server, and the next connections will go to your server. All of this is happening in the backend. It will use replication. This is what is the architectural style which it uses to satisfy its promise. It will never be down. So you need not worry about it. It is a Microsoft promise. That's what is the SLA. When I'm using PaaS. The PaaS, it is giving me the SLA. Even IaaS, all of these services are a SLA of 99.9. They will never be down. That's the beauty of Azure. If they are down, then why will I go to Azure? I'm trusting Microsoft, and they have to give me guarantee. That's a guarantee card. They are telling me I will never be down. So don't worry about it. Got the point? So there is nothing like it will be down. It will never be
Yes,
down.
sir. Thank you.
You got it right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So there is no case of going down. If it goes down, then why the hell did I go from my on-premise to a cloud service provider? You told you will give me a better service than what I have on premises. That's why I came to you. If you also go down and I have to log into you and maintain the server, then what is the use of going to cloud? When you are such a big player in the market like Microsoft, you should give me some services. That's the service. So forget about server going down. It is just a dream. So until now, I have been working with Azure since the past 5 years. So since the past 5 years, I have deployed at least 20 applications at least to Azure. And never, at least until now, has one application gone down. Never. It never happens. If it happens, then it's a blot on Microsoft. So even though they are saying 99.9, they actually mean 100. But they are just taking some edge case scenarios. What if there is a hurricane in US, in the data center region? You can't guarantee that, right? These are natural calamities. What if there is an earthquake? What if there is a flood in that data center region? Wherever they have put the data center, there is a flood there. And sometimes, because of natural calamities, it can happen. Never it will happen because of regular situation. Right now, there are no natural calamities here and there across the world. Never it happens. If there is a natural calamity, yeah, that's what is 99.9. So they will take care of it. All of that is taken care. So that's a very fundamental thing which I am expecting from Azure, that you will not let my service down. So even though it is IaaS or PaaS or anything, I will not ever have a requirement to log into my server and see. All of that is dream now. So you don't ever log into your server. And most of the things which I do are PaaS. I never do IaaS. Why IaaS? Why do I want to take the headache of maintaining an operating system? When Microsoft is saying I'll maintain it for you, why will I go for IaaS? I'll tell my client don't use IaaS because this is better for me. This might be better for the client, but I will play my card. If I am an architect, I will tell them why use IaaS, go for PaaS. It is easier for you and me. I need not maintain it. I need not log into the server and see. So 90% of whatever I have built until now are PaaS. It's all PaaS. I will just leave Microsoft to take care of the operating system and stuff. I have used IaaS, but very minimal, depending upon the client. So just understand that all of your basic things are concerned, and if you want to know about what are the things which are covered in the SLA, just go through this. A big, huge page. When they are saying we are giving you services in the DevOps, we have the SLA. What is the SLA of DevOps? Just see that. There are multiple SLAs which they are promising us. So these are the contracts, which is a public contract. So they are saying these are the things which I will give you. When you come to cloud, I will give you these things. Those are the things. So just go through those things. It's all, everyone would be having the SLA of 99. So don't worry about downtime. There is no downtime once you go to cloud. You will never have a server which is gone down. So moving ahead, software as a service. You might have used it already. What is Outlook? Outlook is your on-prem. You would install Outlook inside your machine, right? That's a software which is present physically in my drive. That is what is Outlook. Office 365. What is that? That is Outlook on cloud. Now you are accessing Outlook, but you are accessing Outlook on cloud. What is Outlook? It's a software. How are you accessing it now? As a service. It is office365.com. You will say mail.office365.com. You will go ahead and access your mail from there. You are using the same Outlook, but you are using Outlook as a service. That's what is software as a service. You have Word, which is present there in the cloud. You can use Word document on cloud, right? You need not install Word since the past few years, since when they released Office 365. Since then, I need not use, I need not go ahead and install Word in my local machine. I can directly go ahead and say, I can directly go to the cloud and use a Word document. I can use Excel document. I can use PPT. I can build a PPT on the browser by accessing PPT service, which is present in Office 365. What are all this? These are all softwares as service. All these softwares previously I had to install it on my machine. Now I need not install it anymore. I can directly use my software as a service terminology. So we are already familiar with software as a service. If you want to build something of that sort, then you would be going for SaaS. That's what you say, SaaS. You say SaaS, PaaS, and you say IaaS. So these are the main offerings or main segregations. What you do inside your cloud service, that is your Microsoft Cloud service. These are the main things which main categorizations which you do. What are the services which are available? We will look at a few services, then we will move on with our discussion with Azure DevOps, because if you want to cover these services, I need another 2 months. Look at the number of services which it offers. It offers at least 100 services, more than 100. If you want to speak about all the services, what each service does, and when to use what, all of that is an Azure discussion. But we are in an Azure DevOps discussion. We are not in an Azure discussion. You need to have an idea about Azure as well. So the next thing what you do after we are done with our course and we learned Azure DevOps, explore Azure services. Understand what to use when. What can I use when? In what scenario I will go for a virtual machine? In what scenario I will go for a web app? In what scenario I will go for what? You should have some amount of understanding of it, because as DevOps engineer, we keep doing this. If I'm having a mobile application, what are the number of services? If mobile application I get only one service, it is very clear to me. But why? How come there are so many services? Why should I use mobile apps, or why should I use Xamarin, or why should I use API apps? All of these are why. The whys should be answered. So you should know that answers, because there are multiple offerings within each section. And you should know the answer that why should I use what. So go through that. But we will just explore a few things of whatever is possible, because it's a very long discussion. To whatever extent you can explore, we will just explore to some extent and then move on with our discussion. So if we just see this slide, so these are the number of offerings. Whatever you see on screen or not the only one, you have more than 100. I can't put 100 in a slide, so I just got those on a slide. So once you understand it, then it would be something like this. you can clearly segregate them into buckets. Even though it looks so many, they can be segregated into buckets. Each one is pretty much logical. All have their logical categorization. So I can bucket them into different categories. Moving on. So what's the difference between cloud and on-prem when you're speaking about on-prem and when you're speaking about cloud? What's the difference between it? On-prem is monolithic and centralized. That is, it is in one place. It's not everywhere. Cloud, it's decentralized. It can be everywhere because of replication and stuff. Yeah, you can do replication on on-prem as well, but you have to, you do not get the dynamic decentralization which you get in case of the cloud. If I have deployed my application in US Central, when I say decomposed and decentralized, if I have deployed my application in US Central today, for whatever reason, tomorrow I feel I do not want it into US Central. I want it in European Union region. It is just a switch. I can just use a switch. There is a drop-down list wherein I can select which region. I can just select EU from the drop-down list and say save. Within 1 minute, or let me say 3 minutes. Within 3 minutes, I have switched my application from US Central to EU region. That's how fast it is for me to relocate my application. Is that possible with on-prem? It is impossible, right? So you have to have the on-prem server in US and you have to have it in European Union, and maintaining their servers. You need an AC room. For that, you need a couple of technical engineers, wiring, and a flat which you will rent, and constant power backup so that it doesn't go down. How many things? How many things do you require to maintain a server? Too many things. So it's not so straightforward in an on-prem way. In a cloud way, it is pretty straightforward. I can go ahead and have all that within just a few switches. I'll just use a few switches and I'll move my region. So it is absolutely decentralized. It is predictable, designed for predictable scalability. So I know when to scale, and if I have failed with my scalability prediction, then I lose money, because what is elastic? We spoke about tax smile, and we spoke about when he will increase and when he will decrease. He will increase during the time of March, April, May, June. Then he will decrease the number of servers. So what is he doing? The tax smile guy, he is being elastic. Can I do that here? If I increase, can I decrease? What will decrease mean in on-prem? I should sell my servers, right? When I increase, I will buy a few servers. When I decrease, I should sell the servers. Where should I sell the servers? Who will buy a second-hand server? It's not straightforward. I lost money. When I increase and try to decrease, I lost money. It's not losing money here. It's very easy. I'll just switch on. I'll increase the capability. Once the crush is down, I will decrease the capability. So it's very easy for me to increase and decrease here. That's what we call it as elastic inside your cloud. Relational databases. You will mostly, 99% of the time, work with relational databases when you are working with on-prem software. That is not the case in cloud. You can work with both relational as well as NoSQL databases. That's what is called as polyglot persistence. That is, you can have mixed storage technologies. So you can mix the technologies with SQL as well as NoSQL. You can mix these two technologies and work with it. Consistency. It's strongly consistent. It is eventually consistent. Both are same. Consistency is good in both the worlds, in the on-prem world as well as the cloud world. We'll just ignore it. serial and synchronized processing, parallel and asynchronous processing. What is the synchronous processing? Just a minute. There was a noise. So, what is synchronized processing? Once you are done with command 1, if I have 3 commands, cmd1, 2, 3. If I have 3 commands, if it's a synchronous operation, what will I do? I will execute command 1. Once this completes, I'll execute command 2. Once that completes, I'll execute command 3. So I will go step by step. What if the second command takes 5 minutes? And the first command took 3 seconds. Second one took 3 seconds. The third one took 3 seconds. What if this takes 5 minutes? If it's a synchronous call, what will happen? It will be waiting for 5 minutes until this completes. And only after that completes, it will come to command 3. That is not the case with asynchronous. If I just make A, you say asynchronous. Some people say asynchronous. Some people say asynchronous. Both are fine. So wherever you have a environment like this, wherein async and sync are present. 1 second. Yeah. So, is there a question? So,
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. So if at all there is an asynchronous operation, it will just execute command 1, 2, 3 within a second. This guy, he would be called and said, whenever you are done, call me back. And there would be a callback function. Asynchronous calls go with callback functions. So what will he be said? Whenever you are done, call me back. I will come back and execute. After 5 minutes, he will say to the asynchronous model that, yeah, I am done with it. And he will go ahead and execute command 2. So asynchronous calls are pretty fast and they don't hang stuff. Most of the thing what you do on cloud is asynchronous. Can't we do asynchronous things on-prem? We can do it. It's not an issue. But here it's more towards asynchronous processing. It only thinks of asynchronous processing by default. By default, on-premises systems think about synchronous processing. They don't think about asynchronous processing by default. Then, what do? You will design to avoid failures inside the on-prem. What do you do here? You will design for failure. What do you mean by design for failure? Right when you launch your application, in production, what will you do? You will go ahead and replicate it, the app, in 2 regions. Why did I replicate it in 2 regions? Because I know if one region fails, I have the second region ready, so that my server is always living. I will replicate it in 2 regions when I'm going to production. I will design for failure. I expect that there will be failure. That is why I will write it in 2 regions. You can't keep your server in 2 regions in a on-prem device. It is very costly. Already you are spending money, and then you have to spend money twice because of 2 servers. It's very costly. So what will you do? You will try to design to avoid failures inside on-prem devices. So you will use many coding algorithms to actually avoid failures. That is not the case here. You will design for failure inside cloud. Occasional big updates. Where you are updating your software. You're not able to hear me? I just did not speak. Can you hear me now? Am I audible now, or how is it? Should I disconnect and reconnect, or how is it? Am I audible now? And you're able to hear me? Okay. Meghna is able to hear me. Lakshminarayan, am I audible? I did not lose connection. It's fine now. Okay. So essentially, what do you do in an on-prem server? You would go ahead and do occasional big updates. That is, occasionally you would go ahead and update the entire infra. In a cloud environment, you would update, but you would update it minimally. That is, every patch would be updated automatically. Why? Because of your PaaS offering and stuff. We spoke about it, right? How we can update and how we will leave Microsoft to update it. So Microsoft will take care of my updates and stuff, which is frequent updates which happens in the cloud environment. You have to manually manage your server. Here it is automatically managed. Why? Because we have Microsoft doing it. I need not manage it. Microsoft is doing that manual management for me. So they will go ahead and apply the patches and stuff like that on the Azure cloud engineer. And I need not care about it as a software engineer. Snowflake servers, it is immutable infrastructure. So here we have multiple servers which are spread across. That's what you call as Snowflake, because they are everywhere. And you would be having multiple server rooms and multiple servers. Here you would be having data centers. You saw the data centers, right? You would be having huge data centers. You would be having something like this. So huge data centers. It's not Snowflake. Does that look like a Snowflake architecture? It's all huge, and it's all having a pattern. It's specifically having a pattern, and it follows a pattern. So that is what is cloud. So it is immutable, and it is having a pattern in which it stores the data. So how did the application architectures evolve over time? We will speak about it, but I think we are close to close. Let me answer a few questions, then we'll close for the day. So any questions you have, so that we'll discuss the questions. If I start this topic, I need another 15 to 20 minutes. So any questions you have, which I need to address, you can ping me or you can speak. No questions? Yeah.
Yeah, this architecture of the cloud and few topics of the important things like scale in, scale out, and resource groups. Other things we are going to discuss, right?
I'll just see if at all we can discuss that, because that's not DevOps. DevOps is not about that. Whatever you said comes in Azure discussion. So you are going deeper into Azure discussion. That's not what we are planning to do, right? We are planning to do this guy. We are planning to do. We'll just see if we can do that. If at all we have some time. Whatever you said, but we are doing this guy, right? And this guy doesn't cover scale in, scale out, and stuff. Or Azure DevOps is not that. It is Azure. If you're learning about Azure Cloud and what is Azure offerings and stuff, that's where those topics will come. It will not come in DevOps. DevOps is a totally different discussion. We are just exploring Azure to some extent, so that it is easier for us to write some release pipelines and build pipelines. That is where we are understanding. We will see. If at all we'll get some time, we will